Let's face it, everyone faces a creative block. After hours or days of constantly pushing our brains to its limits, we somehow hit a threshold. When that happens, everything seems to be difficult to do. There are a couple of things that I try to do whenever I face a creative block, and you might want to try these things too. Hi, my name is CJ Abelardo. I'm a self-taught photographer and a filmmaker based in Edmonton, Alberta. And today, I just want to show you 3 things that I do when overcoming a creative block. Let's get going. You might have seen this coming. One of the things that I try to do whenever I'm facing a creative block is reading a book. More importantly, a different one. Ever since I started reading a couple of years ago, all I bought and read were about business and productivity. I have never tried any other genre for a long time now, until last week. I was reading this book by Jordan Peterson titled 12 Rules for Life. I felt really overwhelmed over the information that I'm getting from this book. I'm not saying that it's a bad book. I think it's actually a really great one. It's just that my mental capacity to understand the ideas in this book has taken a toll on my brain during that day, because that's all I read for the past month. Now, before I was reading this book, I've read I think 3 or 4 on the same genre for the last month. I thought really deep and hard what was happening with me, and immediately I decided that I think it was time to try another genre to read. So one day last week, me and my wife went to a local thrift store to donate some unused clothes. We thought it was probably a good time to look around since we were already there. Now I'm off to find the books area. Now, I usually go straight into the business section, but this time, I didn't. Now I checked the section that was next to it, which was fiction. And at first, I was really overwhelmed with how many books were in there. It was like 3 times more than the business section. It was crazy. I had a good couple minutes browsing the bookshelf until one book caught my eye. It was this one, The Last Templar by Raymond Curry. As soon as I saw this book, I said to myself, oh look, Assassin's Creed. Now, for those of you who doesn't know, Assassin's Creed is an RPG game. In majority of the game series, the story kind of encompasses around the Templars being rival of the Assassin. And no, this book is not really about the game, it's just about the Templars. And then I thought that this should be a good read because I'm already quite familiar with the Templars, because while I was playing Assassin's Creed, I was also doing a little bit of research about what's in the game. While I was reading it, I thought to myself, why not listen to a cinematic music that was from the game itself? You know, just to elevate the reading experience. And surprisingly, it did. I felt my brain was happy with what I did because the experience now is really different. And it made me think that this can be a good idea for a YouTube video. And that idea came into fruition, and that's the video that you're watching right now. Creative block averted. Now, the idea of listening to cinematic music came from another habit that I used to do every night, which brings me to point number 2, which is journaling. Journaling has been a trusted tool for centuries, helping people overcome a range of challenges, including creative block. Writing down ideas and thoughts can trigger the generation of new and creative ideas. By putting pen to paper, you allow your mind to freely explore new possibilities and perspectives. This is my journal. It's kind of messy. Every night I try to set up at least 15 minutes before I go to bed and, just write on it. And while I do it, I listen to a cinematics playlist from Spotify because I find it more soothing while writing. And that's where the idea of listening to cinematic music came from. Now, it's also good exercise to unload any baggage from your mind and onto the paper. I list all of the things that happened during the day and my thoughts on any situations going on in my life. Now, most of the things that I wrote here will stay on the paper, but sometimes an idea will come. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by your thoughts and ideas, it's better just trying to picking up a pen and just write. Just write. You don't have to have a specific structure for you to be able to start journaling. Just write whatever's on your mind. The clarity and organization you'll gain just might be the key to unlocking your next creative idea. Point number 3, experimenting. Experimentation involves trying new things and taking risks in order to spark creativity. When you're feeling stuck, it's important to shake things up and try a different approach. Changing your usual creative process or working with different materials. Now, for example, whenever I have a project that involves shooting cars, I tend to schedule it always during the day because it was way much easier. You don't need to use a ton of lighting equipment. Essentially, the sun is doing the job for me on lighting the car. The ambient light of the nature was all I needed, and I did that for the majority of my sessions. And it came to a point that it became so redundant that whenever it gets darker by just a tad, or whenever the sun is out, I don't know what to do now. It breaks my workflow because all I knew was to shoot with the sun. Because of that experience, I decided to practice using a different approach on car photography. Tried playing with different lights and shot a few nights just shooting my own car. And you know what? It became helpful. I have learned skills using different lighting techniques on lighting a car, and I don't regret doing it. Experimenting can help you break out of your comfort zone and think outside the box. You may discover a new passion, develop a new skill, or come up with a creative solution, just like what I did, that you would never have thought of otherwise. Now, in short, experimenting can help you overcome a creative block by providing new experiences and opportunities for growth, and by encouraging you to think in unexpected ways. In conclusion, when facing a creative block, try breaking out of your routine and try something new, whether it's reading books, journaling, or experimenting new things. Now, these methods can help reignite your creativity and overcome any creative block. So whenever you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, maybe give these things a try and see your creativity flourishes once again. Or watch this video instead, and maybe you'll learn a thing or two about car photography.